Alrighty, this is Tim from The Typical Family. Today we're making one of my family's favorite recipes or meals for dinner tonight. But we're going to start off with a cup of brown sugar. Don't really want to pack it down because if you actually pack it down, it makes it very difficult to integrate the ingredients with each other. So my recommendation is try to leave it as loose as possible. Then we go over to a half cup of white sugar. Tablespoon of garlic powder, and definitely make sure you don't use garlic salt because you're going to get a wallop of salt if you do that, or skip the salt. And here's where you can kind of choose what it is that you want, whether you want to use 2 teaspoons of black pepper, or if you want to increase the amount of chili pepper in there. I usually do 2 teaspoons of each. I like it a little bit hotter. Just like to throw some paprika in there as well, give it a little bit of flavor, and do 2 tablespoons of salt. I prefer kosher salt, like the flavor of it. Lastly, we have the black pepper that we're going to go ahead and throw in. 2 teaspoons of that as well. Okay, and then just go ahead and integrate this into each other. Mix it up, make sure that everything is pretty well situated. Like I said, I do like to have a bit of rub on there, so I like to go a bit heavy on it. I can put, somewhere in the vicinity of like an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of rub on the entire rack of ribs. You definitely want to go ahead and take and just kind of massage this in, so then that way it gets into all the nooks and crannies and you actually get a little bit better penetration of the rub into the ribs themselves. And I went ahead and earlier we removed the membrane on the back of the rib. I don't particularly like that. It has a tendency to get kind of gristly, for lack of a better word. If you leave that on, it can get the ribs to be really kind of hard to get the meat off of the back of the rib itself. So preference. And then lastly, the one thing I do like to do too when I put this into the smoker is split the ribs in half, and then that way you end up with a little bit more area for the smoke to get in there, and it's a lot easier to handle as well. Okay, that's it for this part of it. Next we'll head out to the smoker and get them in the smoker and get that started. Right now the smoker is preheating and should be done in just a minute. Okay, so now we're on to the next phase. We're going to go ahead and throw the ribs into the smoker. We're going to go ahead and stack the ribs a little bit apart from each other just to get the smoke flowing across both of them. If you stack them both right on top of each other, you're going to not get as much smoke on the upper one as what you will the bottom. Today we're going to go ahead and use peach wood for the smoke flavor. And it's at 180 degrees, and I figure it's probably going to take about 6 hours to get these things cooked. So like I was saying, I definitely like to go ahead and stack the smoke box as high as I possibly can to get that infusion of smoke flavor into the meat. So the next thing to do is just throw this into the smoker, and then we're off and running. Be back in another couple of hours. Time to pull them out, and as you can tell, the ribs have definitely pulled back from the bone. Hopefully you enjoy the recipe as much as well we do as a family. Thanks, take care, and we'll see you again soon.